airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Oregon football.
It's about them going on the field and getting better.
He's gone. He's gone. See you later. Touchdown, Ducks.
We're going to play with relentless effort. We want to attack the ball at a high level.
Pressure comes. They got him again.
I want to see those guys playing for each other.
Gives it to James again, and he may go all the way. Goes in down the middle. There's Pez Johnson. Why not just score?
These guys come to work, man. They're wired the right way. Always about hearing the message, not the tone.
There's no place like Oregon. We do it different. We're growth mindset oriented and just great people.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
Thank you and welcome into a Wednesday. Here we go again on the road, this time after a big home game and a win against Maryland this past weekend. Joining us for a Pepsi Coaches Show is head coach Dan Lanning. Coach, always appreciate you coming in and spend some time. This is a getting busy time of the year for you, isn't it?
It gets busy.
Yeah,
it gets busy.
And I lead into that because this is you're approaching that signing deadline. Today, for the rest of the sports, I think, in college, it's a signing day. But football is separated. Why is that? Is there an answer to that?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. But I'm okay that it's not today. That's all right with me. We got a lot of other things that we're doing.
You guys have to, and we were talking about this before you got in here, Coach. The balance job that you and your staff, coaches and everybody from top to bottom have to do on that from a standpoint of recruiting at the same time that you're coaching, at the same time you're traveling, playing games. Talk about what you can on that, how you guys put all that together, and just the great group you have.
I think it's like anything that you do. If you're not doing it consistently and every day, then you're probably falling behind. Our signing day actually happens to be the same week of the Big Ten championship, so I wouldn't say that's necessarily convenient either if that's where you're aiming to be. But if you're doing it every single day, then and you have a great staff like we do, I think it allows to do a good job at that.
And you take little things, and it's not a little thing, but you're going to be maybe potentially during signing day in a Big Ten championship game. So that's a little bit of a recruiting piece you can use, and you got to like that, don't you?
Well, you got to take care of business before you get there first, right?
Okay,
but certainly that's the opportunity you hope to have.
Nice win on Saturday. But I sensed them from the post-game comments from you and even from the players that you were happy that you get to win, but you weren't really satisfied with the game. What were you reading into that?
Just ultimately what you just said, that we think that we can play at a better level consistently across the board. And, we haven't had a lot of moments like that this year. So to be able to learn from moments like that is big for us.
Kind of a challenge in adversity. I mean, you have adversity each week of different types and that type of deal, and it was a little bit different this last week at home. And yet sometimes you don't ever want it to be a game like that, but sometimes you got to fight through games like that, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been a part of a team that hasn't had moments like that throughout the season at some point. And that being said, we're talking about a game that we won by 21 points.
Exactly,
so, there's a lot of things that were really positive there, but that's not how we measure ourselves. We measure ourselves on what do we think our best is, and there was moments we didn't have our best on Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday, you looked at it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got 3 practices under your belt. How have they responded this week?
Yeah, our guys have had a good week of practice, really good week of prep. They've attacked it each day, and this season it's a long season, but I think our guys have handled it really well.
You've had a great season of practice and games with really good weather. Until today, a little bit wet, that type of deal.
That's all right. It's fun to get out there in the rain sometimes.
Yeah, it's part of it. From a rain standpoint, when you have to practice in the rain outside versus bringing it inside, how much more do you get done with the 2 fields outside versus the indoor facility? And they're both great to have, right?
Yeah, more than anything. We could do our practice in the indoor and be in great shape, but we enjoy being in the elements, right? I think that's something you have to challenge your team. You talk about toughness, and toughness isn't something you're born with. You have to adapt to it and have that mindset. So for us to get to practice at times, we've had unbelievable weather this year. We haven't had an opportunity to really practice in weather that wasn't great. So to get that opportunity today was big for us.
And it's a preparation thing. You never know where you're going to be in a situation where you need to have that behind you, so you've got that.
That's right.
as you look at that game at home, the Autzen crowd makes it easy to get up. It's almost like that extra man on the field. But at times, is it a little misleading for guys because they get so juiced up they lose the focus on the game and everything they're supposed to do?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think our guys enjoy that. I'll say this, regardless, when you're at home or when you're away, there's an advantage at some point when it comes to communication, right? Because our crowd is so incredible when we're on defense, which is exactly what we want. It makes it pretty hard to talk to the guy next to you when you're out there on the field, which is a challenge when it comes to communication. So we have to do a great job with that, and it's really just the transverse of that whenever we're on the road for our offense and how that communication is demanded.
Towards the end of the night, we'll get a chance to talk Wisconsin, but a tough place to play, obviously, Camp Randall. Been there before?
I have
Coached
not.
there before?
I have not.
Yeah.
Coach Fickle, you guys have any history together?
When I was at Georgia, we played in the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati and had a really good team there, really, really talented team.
What about Wisconsin? Wisconsin, yeah. I mean, Camp Randall, you've never been there, but Camp Randall has been sort of compared to Autzen Stadium to some degree. Great student section. They have the song. They do everything. I remember being there, I think, in 2008 or 2007. How do you prepare? I know you have noise. You have noise here, but how do you prepare for that kind of environment and feed off of it?
We've been in some great environments this year. So, just that, leaning on your experience that we've had in the past, and then, know that it's going to exist, acknowledge it, and have a plan for it.
Well, talk a little bit about this last week, just for a little bit. Your defense played tremendous. Offense and defense at times, but defense really came up with some big plays. Talk a little bit about their performance against Maryland.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece that showed up is we've talked a lot about ball excellence throughout the year and when we can create opportunities to get the ball back for our offense, and we were able to do that on Saturday. Able to get the ball back. Even when we weren't hitting the quarterback or, attacking the ball, we were able to get our hands up on the defensive line. I think we had 7 batted balls at the defensive line. That was going to be really big in that game. Certainly showed up, and I thought we tackled well.
And you knew that going into the game because of the quick pass game that they have to be able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's sometimes you play a passing attack, and the thought is, we're going to have opportunities for a bunch of sacks, and that's not necessarily the case when the ball's coming out quick.
You always get a little adrenaline rush or excited when your team scores, especially in a big play. How different is it when you've got a couple of big offensive linemen scoring a touchdown and a 2-point conversion? I mean, what kind of emotions going through you there?
I think everybody gets excited when a skill position scores, but the whole team gets excited when they see a big man score. So that's something fun to see. And there's a lot of plays that we work at practice that we don't always get to use, and to be able to utilize a couple of those was fun for our guys.
Well, I was going to say utilize a couple of those plays. How big is the playbook? I mean, I'm trying to envision how many different plays, and along with that, do the players all need to know everything in there, or just as you install?
They need to know the plan for that week. But there isn't the old school playbook anymore. It's really all on the computer now. So those guys do a great job of handling information. And for us, we want to give them as much information as they can handle. So if they're able to handle it and they can execute it at a high level, then we want to be able to carry it.
Talk about how athletic those guys are. I mean,
we got some good athletes, don't we?
I think that's what really shocks people is to see guys that are 290, 300 plus, obviously making the plays. I mean, not Jordan Birch, obviously, the play that he made, but
I told him
that
play for Jordan's going to be on his Mel Kiper tape for sure when it comes to draft day. Him running around looking like a running back. But yeah, having Josh be able to create a big play down there, Janoris be able to have that big catch. I mean, all those were fun.
So it creates situations now where you're going to have offensive linemen and even D linemen coming to you saying, "Hey, coach, I got to play here." I mean, are you hearing from guys?
Well, I mean, we've kind of had a history of that a little bit since we've been here. I mean, if you remember back to Josh's freshman year, he caught a touchdown pass at Colorado, and that was when he was a guy that was kind of in the rotation, but we're looking for opportunities to create roles for him. So for him to turn that into another score, I don't know how many offensive linemen have scored multiple points for their team, touchdown and 2-point conversion for their team in their career, but he's certainly one of them.
The importance of the patience of the offense, Dylan Gabriel obviously leading the way in that type of deal. At times, offense would get it going, and at times not get it going. But the patience was really important managing that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that and being successful in the red area, putting up touchdowns, excluding the one turnover that we got on defense where we weren't able to turn that into a touchdown. Our offense was really efficient down there throughout the game. So, yeah, again, I look for opportunities to build off of that.
Okay, we're just getting heated up. We got a lot more for you. We're going to look ahead, obviously, to the game coming up. It's our Toyota Coaches Show in, let's see, our final. I can't believe that. What's our final week? We're going to have to work out something to get you in here.
A little off-season action.
Off some, yeah. We'll figure out something. We'll figure it out. All right, let's come back and continue on with more on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Autumn Leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Go Ducks!
It's made, turned, don't deny me the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Toyota Coaches Show. Jerry Allen with Jorgie, head coach Dan Lanning in. It's our Toyota Coaches Show and our Pepsi segment with the head coach. Coming back, Coach, you have coached as a head coach now. You're pretty young for a head coach, but you've coached two remarkable quarterbacks, Bo Nix and now Dylan. As you look at those, that record that Dylan set in that game, you want to celebrate it, you want to just get thrilled about it, but at the same time you still got games to play. How do you handle that, like in the locker room afterwards, and you know, giving Dylan his due? I
actually apologized to Dylan afterwards because in the excitement of after the game, I didn't say anything to the team. I was able to recognize it later on in the press conference, but I was like, dang it, I forgot to acknowledge Dylan, and Dylan is the last guy. He said, Coach, I'm glad you didn't. He's the last guy that wants that recognition. I think that speaks a lot to Dylan, but so proud of his achievements, and he's just a great example of when the team has success, individual success comes with it.
Yeah, we're looking forward. We were talking about this before. It's going to be a great, probably one of the best trivia questions ever, right? Who did he throw the pass to? One day that's asked of him.
Yeah,
who did he break the record throw to? Jordan. Oh, he was a great wide receiver. No, he was an offensive lineman.
How about that?
How do you keep, Coach? Again, to go along kind of with what Jerry just said about Dylan Gabriel. Each week gets bigger and bigger, and we all know it as fans. You guys know it as a coaching and as a staff. How do you go about keeping everybody focused on the task at hand and the team right in front of you?
Yeah, that's your job as a coach, and that's your job as a player. I think everybody, when they walk in that building, they take what we do very seriously, and they appreciate the opportunity and the moments, and they realize it's rare. There's not a lot of people in college football that get to do what we do where we're at currently. So taking advantage of those moments and not letting them slip by.
You have so much talent on this team. We were surprised, and you were surprised too, when you heard that your tight ends hadn't got a touchdown pass. Ferg's first touchdown to start the season. If we'd have said that now, I'd have thought, well, what's wrong? That's because you have so much talent in that offense. And a 62-yard scoop and score off of fumble recovery. I'm thinking Brandon Johnson would work in the backfield. He had some pretty good moves, huh?
We got a couple guys that might be able to play multiple positions for us, right? He looked fast on that moment. So, we've talked to our defense a lot about creating scores on defense. And, it's one of those things like, okay, is this never going to happen? And we've had some close moments. We created what we thought was a sack fumble against Illinois that might have turned into one, but to see them take advantage of that moment was pretty awesome.
All three phases contributed: offense, defense, special teams. Obviously with the Jordan Burch run. Explain to us so we fully understand it, because there were a lot of questions this week about the muffed punt at the very beginning of the game, the roughing the kicker penalty, and why, why they weren't able to make that contact with him and not get penalized.
Yeah, so the punter's protected when they're inside the tackle box, and in that moment the officials determined they were still inside the box. When he picked the ball back up, he still had all the rights that he would have as a normal punter. So we stick our hand out a little further to the left and hit the ball first, then it's probably a different situation. But because of that, because he was still in the tackle box, he was protected.
I want to jump back to Dylan for just a moment, and just quarterbacks in general. You had Bo and other great quarterbacks have to do this, and that is know so much more than I think anybody else on the team has. Maybe a DB or a linebacker on the defensive side, but your quarterback, what is he looking at when he gets a play and comes up and he's looking at the sideline and he's looking what's he looking at? How is he defining what he's going to do?
Yeah, every play's different, and we ask our quarterback to do a lot. They have to identify the front, right? There's certain looks we like versus certain fronts. If it's an odd or an even front, has to identify the rotation of the safeties, the location of the corners or the star of the nickel, level of defenders if a linebacker's a little bit close to the line of scrimmage. So there's a lot of things, but we try to direct it, based on this play, this is where your eyes start. And our guys do a really good job of that.
Which can change very quickly after looking to the sideline, can't it?
Yeah, and then there's pre-snap and post-snap reads, right? There's certain things that happen pre-snap, and that might tell you where to start with your progression, but then post-snap, that picture might change and change where you have to go.
I've heard others say, on a particular play, the ball thrown nowhere anybody, and we'll say the quarterback and the receiver weren't on the same page, okay? Not all routes are exactly the same. Quarterbacks and receivers communicate and look at the defense. How does that work?
Yeah, so a lot of the routes that you run are based off of coverages, right? And even based on your location on a defender, right? Am I even? Then I'm leaving, right? I'm taking off. If he's on top of me, then I'm sitting the route down. And imagine making all those decisions while a 300-pound defensive lineman's running at you. So our wideouts have to be really intelligent. It's a system that's not blackboard, right? We're not just running a hitch every single time. That hitch can become unlocked versus press coverage, or that blocking assignment can change versus a cloud corner. So there's a lot of things that our guys have to know.
Everybody's got to be on the same page, and it's tough sometimes,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Yeah.
I was curious this week. It's kind of out of our mind. We don't see the pads on the sideline, the iPads or the work pads. How much has that contributed to helping you in a game, or I want to say disguising what you're doing? How do you use them now?
Yeah, it's been a ton of information for us. It's good to understand how another team's attacking you offensively, and then defensively, or from our offensive perspective, seeing how they're aligning against you. So it's definitely given us some in-game answers and some adjustments that we can make, and it's been really good to be able to show a player, this is where we fell short, or this is what we did really well on a play.
And it's kind of like it's a chess game of sorts. As you go, whatever you move you're guessing what they're going to do. They're guessing what you're going to do. How often do you go into a play saying, okay, I know how they're going to respond to this, so here's what we're going to do?
Every team's different, right? There's some teams that are kind of a Rolodex when it comes to calling a defense or an offense, where they just kind of cycle through plays, and then there's some teams where you have a really good identity of who they are. So that's part of the game. That's part of figuring it out.
Film tells you a lot too when you watch it over time, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Talk about Wisconsin. High level offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, probably a team that doesn't get enough credit. They've been hot and cold at times this year, but they've proven that they can play really good football, and they certainly play really well at home. Defensively, they've got a good front, and they've got a really good secondary. Some guys that make plays. They give you different pictures, and a lot of them look the same pre-snap, so it's going to be a lot of those post-snap reads for our quarterback. Offensively, they're a team that almost every play has another play. We talk about RPO teams, so they'll have a run with a pass built off of it. So it goes back to guys doing their job and their responsibility. But it's definitely a team that has some talent.
What we've always seen over time, a lot of games that Oregon and Wisconsin have played, whether they're Rose Bowls or what have you, big offensive line. Is that the way it looks again this year?
Yeah, they got great size up front, and they're a team that wants to run the ball effectively. So you think of Wisconsin, you think about a physical brand of football, and they certainly have some of those components.
We've talked about last week. We've talked about this week. We're getting near the end of our time with you here today. Jeff Bassa is going to be our guest here. Joey's going to jump him out. Oh, he's already over here.
There you go.
What can you tell us about Mr. Bassa?
What can I not tell you? I was giving Jeff a hard time the other day because he is a perfectionist, right? He is the guy that wants to do everything right. If you go out to our practice field right before practice, he's the first guy on the field, and he's out there striking the sled on his own. He's out there practicing getting fumbles. He's practicing breaking stiff arm tackles, and it just speaks to his commitment to being great. But he's also the guy, I told him he's kind of a sore loser. When it doesn't go right, he is pissed off. So he holds himself to a high. He goes, I'm working on it, Coach. I'm working on it. But he holds himself to such a high standard. He's certainly the quarterback of our defense.
All right.
Ask the question.
I got a final question. We ask every player we've had on, we ask this question.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see how they respond after being here 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
The question is, Dan Lanning, head coach now, what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Yeah. Just take a deep breath. It's all going to happen when it's supposed to happen. I think I'd start there. But keep chasing too, right? Anything that you dream can happen, it can happen as well. So I was really ambitious early on, and I guess I would say I'm still ambitious, but realizing that it happens on God's timing, not yours.
Excellent answer. You sound
Joey's
like
question. Love it when he asks the players.
You sound like your players. Your players echo that. Coach, appreciate you coming in every Wednesday and joining. We're going to do this again before the season's over. We just can't let this be the last one. We'll let you know, and then you let us know whether you can, or you let us know when you can, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
All
Appreciate
right, Coach.
you guys.
Thanks very
Coach.
much. Head Coach Dan Lanning. Coming up, Mr. Bassa. He's next with Joy on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Duck football.
Dump a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
It is the Toyota Coaches Show. A veteran of the Country Financial Studio, Jeffrey Bassa, is here.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, my effort tonight is to ask you a few questions that I have not asked you.
Okay.
For sure, which is tough because this is now, what, your third, fourth trip into the
Third
studio?
or fourth, yeah.
Yeah, so as a veteran, have you gotten used to the fact that you're a veteran now? Has that sunk in?
Just a little bit, yeah. With senior night headed around the corner, just a little bit. It's starting to hit me late in the season, but Yeah, no, me having vet to my name right now since I've been here for all 4 years is kind of getting, surreal. So.
All right, so this is the last time that we're scheduled to have you in the Country Financial Studio. You want take 3 on the 2-minute life story?
I don't know. I've been 0-3. I think every time I've came in.
So now's the last chance. You don't have to, but if you want to get on that leaderboard forever.
Who's on the leaderboard right now?
Well, let's see. You've got Jackson Shellstad, minute 58.
Okay.
He's the closest current player. Casey Rogers last year did it in 2:03.86.
Oh yeah, Casey. Oh yeah.
And Bo Nix last year, minute 53:03.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I can beat those numbers.
All right. Well, then we're going to review a few things. First of all, there's a fair breakdown by Coach before he left, talking about you. Fair breakdown. You're a perfectionist.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm a guy that's really hard on myself, and a guy that's wants to push everybody else to be perfect as well. And I know that's something that we're striving for this season, right? We're trying to be perfect, right? So that's where we're taking it day by day, week by week. But yeah, I think I'm, sometimes I'm a little too hard on myself, right? Whether that's, dropping a pick or, missing a tackle here and there. Like, those are things that are going to happen within the game of football, right? But, it's to the point where I work on the reps so much to the point where I'm like, okay, there should be to the point where I'm not missing tackles, or to the point where, if I, try to hit a fumble out, like, I should get that fumble out, right? So I'm just that's just how I'm wired,
So from one perfectionist to another, if I could.
Okay, all right.
Have you found over your career now that the hardest part about that isn't necessarily just identifying, I wish I had done that better, but not letting it impact you moving forward? How have you grown, I guess, mentally in that category?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just like Coach Lanning said, that's something that I'm still working on to this day. Being frustrated.
Same, Jeff. If you figure out how to handle that, let me know. Same.
Yeah. Sometimes after little plays like that or little things in life that happen like that, you'll be frustrated for a little bit or, a day or two. But then you got to realize that the sun's always going to rise and then the sun's always going to set. So that's how I look at it in football as well. Like, just like I said, like within the game of football, there's always going to be things that aren't going to go your way. You're not going to play a perfect game, or you might play a perfect game and, you might have just been dialed in that week. But, you always just got to keep having that next play mentality in everything that you do in life.
All right, now I'm going to go down memory lane with you for a little bit.
All right.
Senior day's coming up. You touched on it. That's starting to sink in a little bit. You ready for that?
Yeah, for sure. Playing Washington especially, I haven't beat them since my freshman year, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I can understand that. A lot of family coming in, I hope, for senior day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can already tell that, that's got to be an impactful day, right? And then in general, like the ride that you're on right now, just how much fun are you having here toward the end of your career?
It's been so much fun. All the highs and lows, all the thick and thin, situations that I've been put in, and this program's been put in, and for the past 4 years with just like different coaches changes and big games, small games, just to traveling with the teammates, the transfer portal now,
right.
Meeting a whole lot of new guys that I didn't think I would ever meet really. So just the bonds and the relationships that I've made over the past couple of years have just been tremendous, and I know I'm going to carry them without.
To this point, you've talked about it with the media a bit, but for the purposes of tonight's show, I promise I have a full arc here, so stick with me.
Okay.
Why come back, Jeff? I mean, you had a chance to maybe go play professionally, but you decided to come back. Remind fans, why did you decide to come back this year?
Yeah, a lot of trust and belief in that man that was just sitting in this chair right here, and a lot of trust and belief in, everybody in this facility, from the coaches to the players that, I was going to potentially be playing with, this year. So, and then also just improving my stock and improving my draft grade as well for the future in mind. But as well as, wanting to create history, not be a part of history, right? I know that we can do something special this season, and I knew that the guys that we were going to bring in and the guys that we were bringing back, we wanted to do it big. So, that was me motivated and talking to guys like T. Ferg, Jordan Birch, Ty Sheeb, motivating those guys to come back with me too, just knowing that we could do something special.
So T. Ferg was on last week,
okay.
and T. Ferg talked a bit about that, like that he was ready to move on and then decided to come back. I mean, has it gone, and I realize that we're still on this ride, but has it gone exactly like you hoped when you started having those conversations so far?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just like within the season that we're having, and then as well, like I said about meeting all the new guys,
right?
So, and then I feel like I have gone better, on the field. I feel like I've gone better, stopping the run. And then as well, I just, putting on more muscle, getting faster, getting stronger. And then I feel like my mental aspect of the game has, shot even more through the roof as well. So
you touched on it a bit, and I wanted to ask you, like, what did you want to get better at, and how do you feel it's gone so far this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially heading into the Big Ten. We know that the Big Ten, or I had a little like take in my mind that the Big Ten was going to be a run heavy league, right? So I really wanted to get better at stopping the run, showing teams and NFL teams that I could stop the run, right? So wanted to just how I strike blocks, how I get off blocks, and just be a force and dominating the run, right? So and I think that's how I've been doing a great job of that so far. So
back to Coach Lanning for a second. What's it like to play for him? For someone who has never been around him, what would you say? What's it like to play for Coach Lanning?
Wow. It's truly amazing on and off the field. Like just the knowledge that man has, everything that he's taught me, especially me for me being a linebacker, all the little nuggets and all the free game that he's given me, the way that he coaches me hard. Just the way that he challenges me to be the best version of myself every day. Like there's no day off with him. Like he brings the same energy every day, even if it's cold outside and it's raining and he takes his shirt off during practice.
True story, everybody. True story. Yeah.
But it's the same with him every day. And I know that he's a guy that forces and wants to strive for greatness every day, and he truthfully means that.
Best speech that he's given to the team in your career?
Wow. Like pregame speech or just like post-practice speech? What do you like?
I don't know. What comes to mind?
Okay,
I mean,
all right. His team. I really have to say a lot of his team meetings are elite.
Yeah.
His team meetings in the morning are elite. He brings the juice. Sometimes he'll come in there with the speaker. Believe it or not, but I think his team meetings are elite. So.
The reason I bring this up, one of the topics, of course, he has movie influence, right? And you talk about Gladiator, that came up a lot. Now, also, he likes to use movie clips. So I'm curious, movie guy yourself?
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so what's the best movie clip that he and the staff have used as motivation?
Ooh, I'm going to have to think back to...
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions
Yeah,
tonight.
I was about to say, wow. So far this season, I probably have to say that Gladiator clip. I really like that Gladiator clip.
That was the one?
Yeah, that was for sure the one.
I mean, that was the one that we all as fans, right,
looking
on, we're like, well, that makes sense, right? All right. Same question now in relation to what's it been like playing for him with Coach Tosh, with Coach Lupoy. What's it been like with Coach Lupoy?
Yeah, another guy that brings the juice every day, another guy that I've learned so much from, just from his knowledge and coaching, those championship defenses, and then his knowledge from the league as well. A guy who's involved in, the front seven heavily, so a guy that I ask a lot of questions, a guy that I have a great relationship with outside the football field, a guy you can just talk to about anything. I feel like he's been my day one guy since I've came here.
From my perspective, he's so invested too in improving draft stock and the livelihood for you all moving forward. Just how instrumental has he been for you in that regard, Jeff? Just working on those things to get better.
Oh yeah, heavily. And he keeps it real with me all the time, like telling me like, okay, this is what you do good, but I think you can do this even better, or or little things like. Before the season started, he was saying, okay, you need to improve this. Okay. So we sat down, we watched a 10, 15 play cut up, and, that was that, right? So a guy who's always going to keep it real with me, he's never going to sugarcoat nothing, and, I appreciate him for that.
All right, now Coach Michalowski as well. You've been working with him for a bit. Same thing. What's it like playing for him?
Man, amazing. A guy who has so much knowledge. I've learned so much just playing linebacker from him, even though, he's coached outside linebackers, but the knowledge that he's gained from, coaching inside linebackers, a guy that I relate to on a personal level, a guy that I like, just sitting on the phone and chopping it up with him, just talking about literally anything, a guy that I have a great relationship with. So I've learned so much from him, and I appreciate him so much. He's for sure responsible for a lot of my development.
Jeffrey Bassa with us. Timeout. Come back. Going to ask you the big question. Advice for 17-year-old you. See if the answer's changed.
All right.
Over the years. Jeffrey Bassa with us. We're coming back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myocccu.org/getduckdebit.
Go Ducks!
Go Ducks! Give it to me, baby! My house! I'm taking it there!
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Back on the Toyota Coaches Show, we're in the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mac, joined by Jeffrey Bassa. Okay, I asked you, 17-year-old you, I always ask this question. What advice would you give to 17-year-old Jeffrey Bassa now if you could talk to him?
I would really just have to say the 3 things to live by would have to be faith, ambition, and patience. Faith, keeping faith in the Lord, and then ambition, you got to grind and chase whatever you want. Whatever dreams or goals or aspirations that you have, they're not going to get done without ambition. So, and then patience, it's when you're grinding for that goal, it may not be, tomorrow you'll get that goal after having a great day of, grinding hard, right? So it might be, 4 years or 3 years down the road. So you just got to keep the marathon going.
Yeah. How has that answer changed throughout your career? Like, I got to tell you, that was one of the most thoughtful answers, right, that we've ever had. And it's similar to what you've said, I know, in years past, but I don't know, just how much have you grown, I guess, in that regard, and being able to think back on your career so far? Just in general, we were talking during the break a little bit about, you doing interviews when you were younger. Now you're doing them now, and you're a team leader. Like, just can you put into words how much you've grown?
Okay, yeah. Wow, I feel like I've grown so much to the point where sometimes I look at the position that I'm in right now, like, a vocal leader, a guy that a lot of people depend on, a guy that, who's, always doing the right things, right? So sometimes when I was younger, like I would consider myself kind of like not a bad kid, but sometimes I would be a little lazy. But just looking back and just realizing where I am now, and people look at me for, that's how you're supposed to do things, and this is the standard of getting here on time, leaving late, or being the first to practice, last to leave, right? So I think just looking back now, it's like, wow, like I've developed so much as a man and as a football player to the point where, it's, I got to keep developing. I got to keep growing.
Well, you earned it, Jeff. I think we can all, on behalf of all Duck fans, we can all agree on that front. Okay, Now, a little bit of a different set for you, okay? Why did you choose Oregon once upon a time? First that, then I have a follow-up. Why Oregon when you first committed here?
I think just the opportunity that I had. I know that I was watching Oregon in 2019. They had that really good defense with, Javon, Vaughn McKinley, Nick Pickett, Demo, who just got paid. So
yeah, that's right. Big extension with the 49ers.
Yeah.
For DD.
So, yeah, just watching that defense and knowing that I had an opportunity to, go to one of my dream schools, which was Oregon. I always knew that. I always kept in contact with the coaches, like, hey, like, how y'all doing? I was really always interested in Oregon, after watching that year of defense, right? And then being recruited as safety as well.
Right.
Javon was a hot topic back in 2019 and, that 2020 year. And then seeing guys like Panay get drafted high and Javon get drafted high and that, a lot of guys on that team get drafted high, I was like, okay, Oregon's not too far from my hometown,
right.
Salt Lake. So,
right.
And I also wanted to get out of the state a little bit. I kind of just wanted to, go grow up on myself, go try something new. And then as well, I had a great relationship with the coaches that were here at the time. And then, just the opportunity that I had.
Now, similar question, but to, I think, come a little bit full circle for you on the serious, hard-hitting questions. Why would you choose Oregon now? We know why you chose Oregon then. Why would you choose Oregon now?
I fully would have to say the whole coaching staff. The coaching staff, I think just the authentic people that they are. And then, obviously the defense here as well.
Right.
You got a head coach who has the defensive mastermind in his back pocket who always going to be giving you, tips and tricks here on defense. And then a lot of the defensive coaches like, Coach Lupoy, Coach Hamp, Coach B. Mike,
yep.
my coach as well. So, I mean, why not? Literally. I mean, you got everything in your pocket right here. You're on the biggest stage, in the Big Ten. And, Oregon's known nationally as well. So you're always going to be in, big games and come be developed by the best. So why not?
Good recruiting pitch.
Yeah.
Right. You going to be a coach someday?
I might. We'll see. We'll have to see. Yeah.
All right. So after you're a millionaire and you make a bunch of money in the NFL, what are you going to do? What's next?
I would like to get into a little bit of fashion design.
All right.
Not so much as modeling, but I feel like, fashion designing and, kind of working in the fashion industry would be, something that I'd like to do down the road.
Well, this is great because this brings me to what we wanted to get to today. So last time that you were in the Country Financial studio, we talked about how a few different teammates of yours had said that you were the best dressed. You often had the best fit. Are you still the best dressed on the team this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You tried to be like, yeah, you are.
I tried to give somebody else some juice this year, but I'll take the throne.
Okay, so you're on the throne. Who else is on the podium with you?
Okay. A lot of young guys. Kamar Matuti.
Okay.
Kamar Matuti he's
I'm taking notes for future reference.
He's learning. So Kamar knows a little bit of something. Let's see. Let's see. Tasheem knows how to dress a little bit.
Okay.
We'll go Nico Reed as well.
All right.
Derek Harmon, a little bit. Derek Harmon, a little bit. So, but for my offensive guys, I got to show my offensive guys some love. Dylan Gabriel.
Really?
Dylan Gabriel does know how to dress a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Okay. Now, we also discussed last year, and I don't want to retread too much, but it was one of the most interacted with segments from a year ago on the Coaches Show. Now you're deciding on what's going to be, like, maybe this is maybe too close to home as I'm about to ask you this, like Senior Day banquet. What's Jeff Bassa wearing?
Ooh.
What's the final fit that we will remember you in?
The final fit. Okay. All right. One of my favorite brands is Chrome Hearts.
Okay.
So it would have to be. I'll probably go suit. Okay. So let's go black Chrome Heart suit.
Okay.
Black jacket. Probably go white button up. Let's go. It would have like a big cross right here, so I don't want to go too crazy with the tie. But I do like the little what's the jackets with the it has like the four. It's like the
double-breasted.
The double-breasted, yeah. I'll probably try that out. Haven't worn that before, but then I would go probably like a white white wristband as well. And then on the inside of the jacket,
there it is.
I'd probably have somebody take, a lot of time to have a whole mural of just like a bunch of my teammates' faces or, a bunch of their pictures in it as well. So
that's awesome. You didn't get to the shoes yet.
Oh, the shoes. I'm sure Kenny Farr could cook something up.
There it is. Shout out to Kenny Farr.
Yeah.
The equipment room obviously is great. I want to get a timeout. Can you stick around one more segment? Because I have some other of the really hard-hitting questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
To settle once and for all. Jeffrey Bassa here. More coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear autumn leaves, you won't be covering roads alone this season. Take on fall in the powerful Toyota Tundra or tackle trails in a Tacoma. Head to Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck football comes your way in 60 seconds.
Turns and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Touchdown, Ducks.
On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Center for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Some final thoughts for Jeffrey Bassa joining us on the Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mac in the Country Financial Studio. So we've been talking about you. So you're going to be a leading fashion designer someday,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Now, what area? Is it just all fashion? Or are you going to go with the athletic fashion? Or are we talking? What are we talking? Everything?
Yeah. Right now, everything. Kind of like let's see. Like Louis Vuitton kind of.
Okay.
So
right.
Bags, clothes, here and there.
Okay, everybody look out for the Basa line coming in however many years. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, now we've been talking about uniforms during the break, but first, everyone really is enjoying your hoodie, the toughness, connection, growth, toughness, sacrifice hoodie. You've had a lot of different hoodies in your time. What are the best hoodies that you've had from the University of Oregon?
The best hoodies. The one that we just got for Veterans Day, the camo one. I like that one a lot. And then there's this one where it's got the rain protection down the torso.
Okay.
And then it has like the
fleece sleeves.
Yeah, the fleece sleeves. Yep, that's it. I wore that. Got that my freshman year, and I wore that a couple days ago and wore that to breakfast, and somebody said it looked too small on me, and I said I love it. I love it too much, so had to keep that one in the closet for sure.
That was safety Jeff, not linebacker Jeff.
Correct.
Right?
Yep,
They've
correct.
got that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And then, can't go wrong with a simple black Oregon hoodie as well. Yeah,
okay.
So.
Now, favorite uniforms that you've worn?
Wow. Okay. Let's go 2021. I think they were called the the Blackout Nightmare, where they were all black with the singular stripe. Eggshell.
Yeah,
Eggshell. I'll throw Eggshell
Jerry
in there.
likes Eggshell.
Yep.
Jerry's a fan.
The ones we just wore against Michigan, those were pretty fire. Those are pretty dope. And then let's go. The UCLA combo is low-key underrated.
From this year?
Yeah, from this year with the yellow helmet.
The yellow helmet,
with the white with the yellow pants. Low-key underrated. I like that a lot.
The throwback white roads that everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one more. Let's go. The ones we wore against Colorado was Eggshell with Nightmare Green.
Yeah.
Yep. I like those. Yeah.
Those were good. A unique combination.
Yeah, for sure.
This is why we ask Jeffrey Bassa for the hard-hitting stuff. All right, Jeff, last question. We're up against the clock a little bit. What's it meant to be a Duck?
It's meant the world to me. This university has meant so much and done so much for me. The people that I've met, including the people in this room, the coaches in this facility, the people, the other student athletes, me getting my degree this year, me graduating. And
congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But it's meant so much to me that I can't even put it in words. It's like more than crying for me. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this university. It means the world to me.
Well, here's to a few more months of games. Jeffrey Bassa, thanks for being a Duck. I appreciate it, Jeff.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right, we're going to get a timeout. Come back. A little preview of what's to come when the Ducks travel to Madison. Jeffrey Bassa, thanks again, buddy. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. No. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. No, by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
Woo! Got to readjust his headset after Joey Mac horses, baby.
You know what's funny about that? I just had to adjust Jeff's down. That's the first time that's happened to me in a while. Probably just widened out while it was sitting here.
Wow.
But,
he's good, man. He is.
He's
got it together.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit during the break, everybody. It's been such a great year of conversations on the Coaches Show.
The best. Yeah.
Shout out to the Oregon student athletes. It's been a lot of fun talking with them here in the Country Financial
Can't believe he's not going to be here next year. I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
He's like one of your kids. You know, you're going to miss that. Okay, hitting the road, Madison, Camp Randall. You've been there. I've been there. Yep. You get a chance to experience it.
Yeah, I've never been there.
It's a special place. It's going to be a big ball game. A lot on the line for Oregon this week. It's only one game, but it could be a very, very big game. We get to come back home and talk about it.
Gets bigger each week, doesn't it?
And I'll tell you, Wisconsin's a good football team. This is a game you better get your head right. Get those things corrected from last week. Don't give them an extra opportunity.
Yeah.
You ready to go? I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready for some cheese.
See ya. Thanks for being a part of this. Yeah, throw the flag. Bye-bye, everybody.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.